Hey everyone, welcome back to the shop. So today I am building a drill press table for my drill press table. So to get started, I built this top with two elongated boxes that slide over the top of the table. And to save some time, I'm not going to go into all the details of that. The next thing I needed to do was to be able to lift that table up and down. And in a previous video, I built a lifting mechanism. I just needed a way to mount the shaft to the box that I just built. So I built these pillow block style bearings. And this is kind of the lift mechanism I did in a previous video. If you haven't seen that video, I'll put a link in the description box. So after making the pillow blocks, I screwed them to the bottom of the box, and that allowed me to run a shaft from the outside to that lifting mechanism. Now I welded a socket on the end of a piece of 1/2-inch rod, and that socket has a 1/2x1 adapter, so I can actually still use a drill to lift the table up and down. But then I also mounted a handle behind it, because if I'm only moving it a few inches, I don't really want to go searching for a drill. I'm just going to use the handle to make the adjustments I need. So with everything welded up, I added the handle and the shaft to the lifting mechanism, mounted it in the pillow block bearings, and then tightened everything down. And of course, you need to add a handle to everything to make it all work. So I had one more thing that needed to be welded for this project, and while I had the welder out, I went ahead and did it. This is a piece of 1-inch all thread, and I welded a nut 1.5 inches down the shaft, and it's 24 inches long, and it'll all make sense here shortly. So I got that done while I had the welder out, and then I set about making a top, or an auxiliary top, for the drill press table. I'm using 2 layers of 1/2-inch plywood. I've got one full-size piece that's 24 by 16, and then I have a smaller piece that I centered out in the middle of that, and then I just glue it, and then I'm going to use some finish nails, or they're 23 gauge brad nails, to tack it in place while the glue dries. Now on either side of that, I want to add some T-track that I can later use for hold downs or for an adjustable fence for the drill press table. So I put the T-track in place and then just cut a piece that would fit on the other side and installed that the same way I installed the first one. Some glue and some 23 gauge brad nails, and I did that on both sides. Now with that done, I needed to mount that all thread to the table, and there's a half nut behind that another YouTuber, Tony Rouleau, made for me, and I'm using that to move the whole table system back and forth. So I just created these little sections that I can mount the all thread in, and then I installed the half nut behind it, and it just floats back there, but moves back and forth as I turn the handle. Now on the front of that auxiliary table I just made, I mounted a piece of material that slides over that nut, and then on the back of it I'm just putting a second track, and that kind of holds this whole system on top of the drill press table, so it moves back and forth nice and neat. Now I didn't get a good shot of the piece that slides over the nut, but you'll have to trust me, it's there. So with that made, I needed to install the tracks, and I'm going to make some hold downs, and with the hold downs I'm going to use that to help build the back of the fence. So on the back of the fence I need some slots, and I couldn't help myself. I made some quick hold downs for the table, and of course I forgot to tighten them down, but I made some quick hold downs for the table. I put a 1/4-inch router bit in and then just moved it slowly back and forth. Now drill presses are really not meant for side load, and that's not what this table's for, but I wanted to play around with it. So there you go. I made some hold downs and adjustable fence, and went through and tested everything, and it's working great, and I got some really cool projects planned for this setup in the near future. I can't tell you how happy I am to have this done. Now, I've made the table removable so I can add some more jigs that I can move back and forth on the drill press for later builds, and we'll do more of that in the future. I was originally going to put drawers in here, but I kind of like these cubbies open so I can stick some dowels in there and some metal parts that I need a little place to store, so I'm going to leave that open. I'm just tickled pink to have this done. Let me know what you guys thought of this build. Think it's a little overkill, or maybe Izzy's got something planned for all this craziness in the future, huh? Anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching. Hey, a couple of things. Don't forget, I'm on Twitter. If you guys want to follow what's going on in the shop as it's going on in the shop, hit me up on Twitter. Links are in the description box below. I also have a second show, Saturday nights at 9 o'clock. I do a show called the Mega Maker Show, where a couple of industry professionals get together with me and we talk about the industry, all kinds of crazy stuff. So we've been having a lot of fun with that, so check that out. Again, links in the description box below. And we'll be talking to you all real soon.